Hello, this is Esteban Garcia with Nebbia Technology. Welcome to this ALM Guide video series focused on helping you get started with Application Lifecycle Management tools. If you want to track the amount of work required to develop an application, you need a place to keep your backlog. Today, I am going to show you how to create a product backlog in Visual Studio Online. Some of the features that I will show you are pretty new to Visual Studio Online, and you may even see additional changes to them in the future. To get started creating your backlog, you can either click on the Work link or on the Backlog link. The first thing that I want to do is create a feature. This will allow me to group my backlog items so I can track related items. Visual Studio Online provides you with an easy way to create this hierarchy. So I'm going to click on the Features link. And the application that we're going to be building has a few different features. A couple of them are security and authentication. And then just click on Add, and that adds the first feature. And the other feature is customer management. And again, click on Add. Automatically, my features get added to my feature backlog. I can reorder them just by dragging a feature up or dragging it down. Now the next thing I need to do is start creating my backlog. And my backlog will consist of stories that will be children of these features. To do so, I can either click on View Features and select Features to Backlog Items. And you may notice that next to my feature, there is now a green plus icon. This allows me to create my hierarchy right from this Features to Backlog Items view. So if I click on the plus icon, I get the option to create either a product backlog item or a bug. I'm going to select the product backlog item, and the work item dialog comes up. Here I can go ahead and create my item and save and close. As you can see, my PBI gets created underneath my feature, and you can easily see that there's a hierarchy relationship between my feature and my PBI. The other thing I can do is click on backlog items, and you can see that the PBI that I created is on the list. And just like features, I have an easy way to create my product backlog items. So let me go ahead and add the product backlog items that I have, and I will associate them to my features afterwards. So I added all the backlog items to my product backlog, and I'm going to click on mapping. So I'm going to turn mapping on, and you can see that all the features that I created show up on the right hand side. So to map a product backlog item to a feature, I just take the PBI and I drag it over to the feature. So the first three items are related to security and authentication. And you see at the bottom, I get a message letting me know that the mapping was created. I'm going to do the same thing with login. And for my last three product backlog items, I'm going to associate them with customer management feature. Now that I'm done with that, I can turn mapping off. And if I go to view and select backlog items to features, you can see that my hierarchy was created. Let me switch back to backlog items. Just like I could do with features, I can reorder my product backlog item. So if I want to move create client to the top, I can do that and move some things around. That way you can make sure that your product backlog item reflects what your true business priorities are. Now that you've created your product backlog, a different way to view this is through the board. So if I click on the board link, now I get a board view of my product backlog. This allows me to do a few different things. I can move one of my product backlog items to different states. So I can move this one to approved. Same thing with this one. I can edit the title of my product backlog item, so I can just click on this pencil and change the title. I can also select one of them and assign my product backlog item to someone. In my case, I'll assign one to myself, and I'll assign another one to one of my colleagues. The other way you could do this is you can just click on the card itself, and I can assign the product backlog items directly to my team members from the card. The board also allows me to create new product backlog items, as you can see with this new item. I can either select a bug or a product backlog item, and I can create my product backlog item right here, and it gets added. The other thing I can do is I can reorder them, so I can just drag a card up and down, and I can also give them a size. So maybe this is a 5, and this is a 2, this is a 13, 2 and 3. Those are just some of the things that you can do with your backlog. Thanks for watching this video where I showed you how to work with backlogs in Visual Studio Online. Keep checking back for tips on how to work with Microsoft's ALM tools.